Good evening, everyone. So welcome to the third session of business communication. And today we'll discuss about types of communication and the case study which we have for the day. Okay. So that what we have the schedule for the day, and we'll start the class within few minutes of time. Let's everyone join in first. Okay.
Good job.
Yeah. Good evening, everyone. Please kindly mute yourself. It will be humble request. Okay. So I think we were discussing in the last session about the literary part of business communication, and we have also discussed about the barriers to communication in the last session. That was the topic which we have completed. Today we'll discuss regarding the types of communication in the session, and after types of communication definitely we'll start the case study for the day and the class activity which is given.
अरे बस वेट बैठा काम बिल्चा अलग अलग कमरे में है.
Let me share my screen now. So today we'll start with the types of communication. We are waiting till 6:05 and then we'll start discussing on that. It's very, very simple topic.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Mr. Anuj. Good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Ayushi.
So we are yet to cover the external factors of communication.
Yes. I think yes. Yesterday, I think we discussed regarding that. You are talking about external factor.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Fine. See, actually, Raksha, like the barriers which we talked about over here is the factor of communication, because like when we discuss about the status and role, because the points which we covered up, it's already actually you could say pronoun or concise to the, you could say external factors. Like when we talk about status or role, which is one of the factor which is based on the external factor. Okay. When we discuss about the cultural differences, we maybe you could say the personality, character, these all are the basically the external factor we are talking right now. Length of communication, disabilities. Okay. So somehow the whatever factor which we covered up, because later on I just gone through with my slides and I thought basically we have covered the combination, because in this particular slide we have the various factor which we may discuss individually as well, but in the concise manner we can discuss this particular important 7 to 8 points which are the major points of this particular uh, business communication barriers.
Okay, sir.
Yes. Then objectives we have done, and from today we have to start the types of communication. Okay. Now before starting this topic, I think I have already given you one class activity today. It's very, very simple class activity. It depends. I just want to know your perception on that. Okay. So the activity which I have given it to you, it is all about in an intercultural situation, you receive a message saying no from someone's lips, but their eyes send a contradictory suggestion saying yes. How will you decide what to do? Give reason for your answers. How exactly the situation is all about, or what in what context we can understand the situation in the business, you could say, or in an organization context, we can say. When such situation arises in the company, because it is more about the non-verbal communication.
Sir, sometime some technical person is come for the commissioning, and that time interpreter is not there. That time we are using like that
Okay.
outside of the country.
So what is the role of culture over here then, I think? Because we are discussing about the intercultural differences.
Culture, that means different culture means different countries, the culture is different, sir.
Hmm.
Here is India is different.
Definitely.
Then both of combination, how to in the industry without any communicating the interpreter, then how you will decide the work.
Yes, yes.
It is only totally dependent on the symbolic,
Definitely, definitely.
and work is complete with the symbolic phenomena. Okay, sir.
Yes, yes.
Hello.
Sir. Mhm.
This is the example of
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
in the industry.
Mhm. Yes, anyone else? I think Raksha. What about you?
No, sir, I didn't, I mean, understood the question, intercultural situation.
Hmm.
Raksha, actually different culture means different type of areas. Suppose different you some rural areas somebody comes means some languages change, and here comes in North India, and how to communicate. This is the different at India at the place of the India, not for the outside of India. This is the intra culture, I think so. If I am not wrong.
Yes, anyone else? I think any input regarding that activity?
Hello, sir.
Yeah, please, please.
Sir, I am new student. I've joined today, but I have something to share on interculture in multinational organization. I'm not quite sure if I'm connecting to the question rightly because just I've joined just now.
Yeah,
But
please.
to the best of my understanding, when we are working for multinational companies or even the local companies, there are people from all backgrounds and they have their own individual upbringing and they have own way of thinking and they have own way of implementing the same thing which can be implemented in several ways by several country people. Like we say the dialect, like American accent and UK accent is also different because of the backgrounds are the different backgrounds. And similarly, if there is an organizational situation like implementing software in the company, say for example any software, SAP or anything which involves like quite a bit of process from blueprint to the implementation and go live stage, there are multiple stages to be covered in that project. So during that, the coordination has to be really uniform and there has to be a multiple verification if everyone is on the same page.
Hmm. Definitely, definitely, yes. See, basically, like, yeah, let me summarize, I think, this particular point. Because when we are talking about the intercultural communication, we are always discussing in the context of interpretation. Okay, because as we know that when, like, as Mr. Anuj and what's your name, I think?
Neelam?
Pardon?
Neelam.
Ila.
Neelam.
Neelam. Okay, okay. Yes, Neelam and Anuj, I think, is what they have described. Because definitely here the context of asking that question regarding how a particular individual interpret a particular way of communication, how a particular individual understand and decode actually in those contexts. The important thing is over here that we need to understand whether you could say the perceived attribute to an individual belongs to the same cultural aesthetics or not. Okay, for example, like it belongs to India, we have a very different way how the companies work, how organization conduct meetings, how the training program actually runs. But the important thing is that certain standardization we need to keep in mind whenever we talk about the culture. Because as you know that I'm not talking about the culture regarding to any, you could say, any country, any language. No, I'm just talking the culture in the context that the theme and the proceeding, how you need to understand all those important parameters, because it's all about the individual perception that a particular single sentence or a particular single module may have a different interpretation in the organization. It's up to you whether you understand yes part means positive part, or you understood the negative part of that particular, you could say, program or training or sessions, conferences, extempore, whatever it could be. It's very important that you need to understand about the extremes, or you could say the effect of the same communication, which might have the multiple interpretation. I hope so. It is clear as well.
Yes, sir. Basically, main aspect is understanding
Yes.
in the right way.
Gotcha. Clear, I hope so.
Yeah, yes, sir. It's clear now.
Any comment? No, I hope so. Chali, fine. Let's start now with the types of communication. Now we'll start. So under types of communication, we have a various hierarchy of communication. One by one, we'll discuss all this with the help of very beautiful examples from professional worlds. Now, first of all, when we discuss about the types of communication on the basis of expression, method, or media, we have verbal and non-verbal communication. And I think the case study which we had in the last session as well, along with the class activity which I have given it to you, it is based on the non-verbal communication only. Okay. Now, when we discuss about this communication, which may be verbal, non-verbal, written, or visuals. Okay. Now, if you can see on my screen, there are different images are given. Okay, definitely they have certain interpretation. For example, if I will hide this particular part, wait a minute. For example, if I hide this particular part over here, all this phenomena, okay, definitely the interpretation by each and every individual would be very, very different. If you can see this example right now, this particular image right now, definitely you might have a different interpretation of this particular point. Definitely this one as well also having different interpretation. What I am just talking right now, what exactly my slide are reflecting to you when it's come to the communication and its interpretation. The same, I think, yes or no, it is same thing. Okay, written visual communication. So what we are discussing right now, we are talking about the types of communication over here. And the first and foremost thing is all about the based on the expression, based on the visuals, based on the understanding, which will be verbal and non-verbal. Okay, Mr. Prashanta, you have any query? I think you raised your hand. Yeah, sure. Next one we have, that is about the first and foremost thing when we discuss about the verbal communication. These are the basic important characteristics which we must need to keep in mind whenever we are presenting ourselves or representing ourselves in a meeting, or we want to conduct a particular seminar, or any type of, we could say, communication delivery you have in the professional world. You have to keep in mind about all these important parameters. If not, that may actually turns into a particular hesitation, and you might not be able to deliver your speech as effectively as possible as what if you are following all these important skills parameter, or you could say the checklist before preparing your verbal communication pattern. Okay, please have a look all this point. The first one is listen carefully. So one of the most important characteristics in verbal communication, that whenever you, if like, it's very common code, if you wanted to become a good speaker, you have to be good listener first. A very, very important point, because what happens sometimes, we listen only half component of that and we interpret it immediately. Like usually it happens in the personal life as well. Like for example, if there is a fight between the two members in the house, rather to complete him what exactly the issue or challenge we are facing, we actually give our interpretation, or we start our thought process directly immediately on the basis of even a single word. Even the same in the organization. For example, the back bitching I'm talking right now, your boss is actually suggesting me that he will fire one of the employees. Fire one of the employee doesn't mean that he's targeting you only, but you start actually imagining that who would be that one. Is it am I, whatever it could be, until and unless a particular you could say source could not complete his words, definitely you may not actually, or you should not even think even in any direction in order to avoid any confusion, or in order to actually generate any anxiety in your mind. It's the very first part. Avoid distraction. Because like for example, if I'm teaching you right now, sometimes my niece came to my floor in my room, and this actually creates some distraction to you. Because for example, if I'm taking a lecture, sometimes if the rain starts coming, or if for example, if I'm taking a meeting right now, and if my family comes and a celebration is going on, whatsoever it could be, the distraction may be visual, may be immediate, or may be somehow associated with a particular mental presence and physical presence. Do not interrupt the speaker. It's very important. Like for example, it always happens with me as well. Whenever I'm giving a lecture, someone enters in the room and they unmute themselves. Don't interrupt the speaker, because it will actually break the chain, and the passive approach or the intensity of the communication would completely disturb. Eye contact, like it's not possible in the you could say online classes. Be clear while speaking. Be clear means your thought process should be synchronized. Your thought process should be targeted. What exactly you want to deliver, to whom you want to deliver, what about your target audience, each and everything must have to clear in the mind. Focus on non-verbal communication cues, your body language, your gesture, your posture, your eye contact, your pitch, everything matters a lot while we talk about verbal communication. Be confident. Now, confidence is basically such a, you could say, a vague term, which I better to say actually, because confidence is something which comes by practice. Okay. And always remember, while going for verbal communication or verbal practices, you have to be very very particular about your mistakes. And you will definitely commit mistake. Even I am also committing a lot of mistake when I'm taking the lecture, and I'm accepting that I'm also a human being. I'm not a machine actually who can deliver 100% efficiency, or 100% truth, or 100%, you could say, the right facts and figure in front of my students. It may be possible I may commit some mistakes. Be open-minded. Open-minded is basically all about prejudice, about biased approach. You always need to, for example, if I'm talking to Raksha, it does not mean that I have some inclination toward Raksha or toward Anuj. It is just because they are more interactive. That's why I'm quite open, and because minds have a different thinking. When it comes to the open-minded approach, means your approach should not be based on prejudice. Okay, be a soft-spoken person. Your pitch, your intensity, your loudness always reflect certain sort of message to the receiver, and he or she will interpret it accordingly. Represent the information in short. I told you, I think, in the last session about the communication pattern. It's very very important that whatever information you are presenting, information must be short. Short does not mean it should be very very in few words. It should be optimum, so that the message delivery must be effective, and must be, you could say, communicate the message you want to deliver to the recipient. Very very important verbal communication factors we need to keep in mind. Any doubt, please?
No, sir.
Here. Sir Neelam here. I have a doubt here.
Yeah, please.
See, in real scenarios, I have seen a couple of things. I want to know when we talk about short information in short and soft spoken and confidence. These three things in real scenario, suppose there is a like a senior vice president and talking to a director, okay, and the director is very kind and very like soft spoken, but the senior vice president is from other country, and in that country the way they talk is kind of like too direct, but there is no like the pitch to pitch, point to point, but with the extra words. Can you hear me, sir?
Yeah, I can hear you. Please complete.
Yeah. So when they talk in a different dialogue with some extra words which are not available. So how to respond? Because if the other person is kind and the other person is coming from a different background and is not kind because he's not meant to be kind, but he's not also rude. That's what he is. Okay. So because if then you are kind, then it represents that you are less confident, even you are like more appropriate than the other one in your work. And because you're coming from say Far East countries, you are more like a sophisticated a bachelor, and the other side is more like Polish, and they are very direct. So I have like in this real scenario, I've experienced that the soft spoken one is interpreted as like a less confident. But here in our slide, we have both the things in the same place.
So Neelam, yes, definitely I'll give you an answer. Neelam, first of all, I just want to break one stereotype actually, because what exactly the context which you have covered over here is about intercultural differences or differentiation in the communication process or approaches of the different top management belongs to different corporates, for example. Okay, that's what your query is all about. Okay, always remember one thing. Always remember one thing, because when we are talking about these stereotypes, because the way I think you have just quoted that situation in front of me, it is basically one of the scenario of standardization, because certain stereotype which we always keep in mind, and it is always, you could say, predisposition in our mind. For example, if you talk about the people from US, I'm just taking an example right now, they have a very different accent and way how they deal with their business partners. The Indians might have certain different perspective for the same. It does not mean that the things are intentional or unintentional. I think we discussed one example in the starting of the lecture itself. The intercultural differences. Always remember, like you just quoted one the question over here, that how to deal with the situation if the someone is very soft spoken and other person is basically very direct and very passive in his approach when it's come to delivery of their business dealing, for example. Okay, in such situation, it's very important that the intercultural differences you need to understand, and there should not be any prejudice or you could say any we could say standardization when it's come to understanding a scenario before actually going in depth of that. For example, because in the case, if the particular person belongs to US having very different cultural aspect when it's come to dealing with the business, you could say partners, opposite to the, you could say Indian, you could say counterpart, we can say, it's very, very important that we always need to, the predisposition should not be there in our mind. Predisposition in terms of the prototypes. Okay, because that is the only problem which may become a hurdle in the communication process. Okay, like for example, if you're communicating with me right now, I don't know what's your background you belong to or whatever it could be. Okay, it's very first time I think we are interacting with each other as well. I cannot create any prototype regarding from where you belongs, what you exactly do, what type of student you are. No, you must have that clarity, that vacuum you must need to create into your mind regarding your student, regarding your sources, from where you are receiving the communication. Definitely the sources are my student right now. And whatever communication I receive from you, it should be crystal clear if I'm creating a particular space of understanding. I'm not taking any, you could say, predisposition in my mind that Neelam is basically belongs to a particular company and she might be facing some problem, or she might have some predisposition, some might have some standardization, some might have some stereotype. If I would have those sort of consideration, I may not be able to give you an answer properly. I may be more biased in that. Clear, I think, Neelam.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I hope so. We should move to the next slide. That is about the verbal communication. Now, verbal communication, as I told you already, it is of basic two types. That is about the oral and the written communication. Okay. Now, when we discuss about the oral communication, definitely we have one-way or two-way information transfer. Okay. Because oral communication, like Mr. Prime Minister came in the evening just to address the nation at 5 o'clock on a particular day, it's basically an oral communication, which is one-way transfer. There is no interaction in that. Okay, so it may be one-to-one, it may be video presentation as well. It may be, if we talk about groups, it may be extemporary, it may be prepared speech, or it may be a group lecture. When we come to two-way information communication, okay, it may be, you could say, one person. Like, for example, if I'm just communicating or if I'm just discussing something with Anuj on a particular matter in his organization, this is called basically two-way information transfer between two persons, one-on-one. It may be group as well, informal meeting, discussion groups, formal meeting, or even the presentations. See, whenever both the parties, both the counterparty, both the extremes are allowed to interact, two-way information transfers, and there is only one party to whom you can who can address, and if there is no, you could say, question and answer round or firing round in between, it is called one-way information transfer. And it happens in the companies as well. Like, for example, in the big seminars, big conferences, when the big leaders, the corporate giant, the business giants comes, it's always a one-way information transfer. It's not two-way. Two-way always come when the particular speaker wants to interact with their audience. That may be the two-way information transfers. Clear? I hope so. Yes, students.
Yes.
Perfect. Let's move to the next slide then. Oral communication, I think it's a theoretical part. Just have a look and we'll move to the next slide then. Shall we move, I think? It's a descriptive form, what oral communication is all about. Yes, I think we should start with the next part now. That is called written communication now. Now, written communication, when we are talking right now, it should be like whenever we talk about any written communication, there are certain parameters which we need to keep in mind. That is about the first and foremost thing is learn the basics. Okay, learn the basics is all about basically because whenever we're writing an email, a report, a memo, a notice, you always need to understand the technicality or the format of writing any type of written communication. Think before you write. It's very, very important that what exactly you want to address, to whom you want to address, what exactly the impact of that. It's really, really important to understand. Know your audience, to whom you're addressing, that I discussed with you already. Make all your important points. Follow a process. Process means basically, like, for example, if being an HOD in the company or being a director in the company, you need to understand how I can communicate or I can draw a particular notice to my subordinates by keeping in loop everyone from the top management. Follow a process means looping everyone, those who belong to the considered communication or considered talks. Deal with conflict carefully, because if when it's written communication, it's a proof, it's a permanent proof, you can keep it, you cannot recorrect it. Okay, so if you have any conflict on your written communication, anything which is contradictory, maybe we can say, you have to deal with certain situation with politeness, write consistently, because that is the only way through which you can improve your communication, written communication. And you should be authentic, well-dated, ethical when it's come to your communication, that is written communication. Shall we move? I think it's very simple.
Yes, sir.
Then we have the types of written communication: email, orders, quotation, form, contracts, minutes, letters, proposals, memos, etc.
Yes, sir.
That is quite descriptive actually about written communication. If you want to have a look, you can, I think. Else we'll move to the next topic, I think so. Because you try to understand, student, I'm just covering only the major part of the communication. I'm not going to discuss all the different type, what is minutes, what is contract. I think it's quite understandable at this level where we are standing right now. Okay. Yes, I'm clear, I think, everyone.
Yes, sir.
Sure. Now, next one, we have non-verbal communication. Now, under non-verbal communication, as you know that I think we discussed the first class activity as well, based on the yes or no, about the interpretation, about the contextual understanding. That is more actually the basic characteristics which comes under non-verbal communication. Most important points when it's come to non-verbal communication forms. The first part which we are talking right now, that is called physical appearances. Let me just draw the pen now. Okay, we're discussing the very first part right now, that is called physical appearance. Okay, now when we discuss about the physical appearance, it includes lot of different, you could say, parameters to consider. First of all, okay, now it includes the face and skin, hair, physique, clothing, or adornment. These are the basic physical appearance and how it affects, first of all, that we need to understand, because each and everything somehow reflecting a particular level of communication. Any example? Like,
Our gesture also specify many things in different situations.
yeah, definitely. But the way you actually, you could say, keep yourself ready for the morning office time on Monday, okay, it actually signifies so many things to the boss or to your colleagues. Your hairstyle, your physique, your clothes, your adornment, means ornaments or any, you could say, cosmetics which you are wearing it out. Okay, it's all about, you could say, the decoration which you have on your physique, on your body, that actually signify a lot of things. Okay, so that is basically the part of your physical appearances, and which reflects, we can say, an indirect way how or what you want to communicate or what you want to address to the audience. Then we have the next part, that is about the haptics. It is about the bodily contact. It's very common, I think, when we discuss about issues which we face, like how someone will shake hand, how someone will hug you. Okay, how someone, like if you are going with a ride, or if you're going with a long drive with your friend or with your class colleague or with your office colleague, whatever, the bodily contact, the physical touch actually defines so many things. and you need to understand that by open ear, by open eyes. Okay, I hope so. You are getting my point, what exactly we are talking right now. Okay. Then we have the olfactics, which includes your perfume, your odor, how neat, clean, and hygiene you are. It depends on that. And that reflects a lot of things which define your personality somehow exactly. Okay. Then the next part we have chronemics. Now, when we talk about this chronemics, it's basically we are talking about how constantly we are recurring certain actions in the company when it's come to eating food, when it's come to passing by different cabins or your you could say your cubicles we talk about in the company. So that may actually the part we're talking right now, that is chronemics. Fine. Then environmental details, it's very common and very simple as well. That is about physical setting, means the setting of your office, setting of your cabin. Okay, artifacts, very common actually. Then we have oculesics. Okay, it include your eye movements and contacts, which includes your focus, duration, staring someone, okay, your eye contacts, visual orientation, whatsoever, because it's mostly represents your eye movements and eye contacts during a presentation, during a meeting time, or in the organization, how you are basically, we can say, positioning yourself when it's come to this non-verbal communication of eye movements and eye contacts. Then paralanguage, okay, disturbance, pragmatics, we talk about pitch, loudness, voice quality, tempo. See, there are a lot of things which we can discuss, but it's not because time don't permit us to discuss in detail everything. So these are basically all about the paralanguages. Okay, the timing, pitch, loudness, everything you can talk about this particular context. Then we have the facial expression, very simple actually. Then we have spatial behavior, about the proximity you maintain, distance which you maintain, the position you maintain, the orientation you have towards a particular individual, a community, a member. Okay, and then we have the kinesics, that about the gesture, posture, the body movement. These are basically the various forms of non-verbal communication we have, which signifies, which reflect a particular way of communication between an individual or in an organization, we can say especially. I hope so it is clear, students. So it's important that you need to explore all these points. Okay, because I'll discuss few case studies with you. Hanji, is it clear, everyone?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Then we have the internal communication or types of communication in a hierarchy. Vertical, which include downward and upward, and horizontal, which belongs to the same level of communication departments or department in the organization. You can see this example actually. The downward and upward communication belongs to vertical. You can see that the purple line is downward, downward, downward. Upward, upward, upward. These both forms are called vertical communication. Horizontal belongs to same level of individuals or same cadre or same designation we talk about. Very simple, I think.
Yes, sir.
Then we have cross communication or diagonal communication. Diagonal communication means a particular individual belongs to the team leader or manager of West region interacting with the manager of South region. Diagonal communication, because this is basically not allowed to have a looping to communicate with the manager belongs to some other territory or region, which we can say. That is called diagonal or cross communication. Clear, I think, everyone? It's very simple.
Yes, sir.
Perfect. Here's one more example I think we have. Now the next part we have, that is about the formal and informal communication. Okay, formal communication is basically the flow or the process through which whenever you are communicating with an individual, whenever you are communicating with a particular department or a group, you have a certain flow, you have a certain process, certain looping to follow. Okay, in that case, it's very, very important that the looping should be clear, the directive should be clear, the context should be up to the mark whenever we are communicating with the in a you could say hierarchy in an organization. Informal communication is basically all about the personal level of communication apart from the formal communication or the routine communication of the business proceeding. Have a look of this particular differences. It's very, very simple actually. Formal and informal communication. Then we'll discuss the types of formal and informal communication. Have a look, please. It's very, very simple. Because informal communication is more about the grapevine. Okay. Anju. Is this part clear? I think everyone.
Sir, in seventh point, like speed, in formal communication, the speed is very slow, and in informal, it's the
Yeah, it's very fast. Yes. It's a grapevine actually. Can I give you an
sir,
example?
but yeah, but in formal communication, why it's slow?
See, basically, it is all about the passing of the information, and see, it is basically more about the rumors, okay, or the manipulation. Because somehow, when we discuss about, like, for example, if there is, you could say, certain issues with the of boss with their immediate, you could say, with the top management, they are instructed or they are thinking that they might fire them or fire him. Actually, we can say from the organization, it is just an informal communication or just a cue which you have from your sources. Okay, so this informal communication is based on, you could say, rumors. First of all, the information is not based on any reference or the facts, we can say, and that's the reason is the fastest compared to formal communication. Because formal communication is all about, like, for example, if I have to send a report in the evening, I just got a mail in the morning that these are the basically the stake in the morning from all the employees. You will get a communication after 1 hour or after 3 hours, after 4 hours, whatever. That because there is a period of time where how the formal communication runs. But in the informal communication, it is working like a grapevine. It is working like a, you could say, cluster. It is working in the manner which is more manipulative. Yes, Raksha.
Yes, understood.
Yeah. So I think shall we move to the next slide?
Yes.
Perfect. Now, this is a type of formal communication. I told you already, we have the vertical communication, that is horizontal and vertical. The communication may be in circuit as well, like source, message, encoding, decoding, feedback. If, for example, if I'm taking Viva of Anuj, so whatever communication we have a certain procedure to follow. Next, we have chain network, a boss handling two teams or two departments or two territories. Like, for example, if I'm a director of a college and I'm handling two centers, in a same locality or in a particular state. Wheel network, a central boss handling a team from different region or different states or different cities. And when we have the star network, it's a very, very common when it's come to the MNCs, where the communication is an open communication, flexible communication, where you can interact, you can guide, you can suggest, you can mentor any individual in the organization in order to create best output for the company. That is called star network. It depends on type of organization we have. According to that, the formal communication network may exist.
So in previous slide, you showed that formal communication is not flexible, but a star network is flexible. How?
See, flexible, see, there's a meaning of flexibility. Flexibility means reaching to an individual. Okay, flexible does not mean that we can cross the hierarchy, we can cross the designation.
Okay,
Poonam.
yes, sir,
Understood?
yes.
Okay, for
Yes.
example, like if I have certain issue with my management department, I'm teaching under management, I cannot address directly to the commerce department regarding the issue of management department. Flexibility we have, I can discuss with them, I can just cooperate with them in research work, in academic work, in this, you could say any proceeding if you talk about, but it does not mean that you are not taking anyone in loop from the management department.
Here flexibility is that according to rules of the company or discipline.
Definitely.
Yes.
Example of star network is like in factories, like there is a plant head and there is a department, and everyone has a loop, so they meet and everyone has a common goal, and that is to give the production. So here star networking is very much applicable.
Yes, yes, yes. Perfect. Clear, I think, everyone. Any more doubt, Neelam, I think?
Yeah, I would example for wheel network.
Pardon, I think your voice is not clear, please.
Oh, I'm sorry. I need an example for wheel network.
Wheel networks is selling wheel network.
You are asking example of wheel network.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. Yes, yes, yes. See, like when we discuss about the wheel network, for example, if I am running a restaurant, okay, and in order to run that restaurant, definitely I have some service boy or chef available. Okay, so definitely I would be the one who will direct them how to serve the customer, what should be the menu for the day, or this is a very basic example I'm taking right now in the organization. Same we talk about the small firms, okay, where there is only one directing authority, those who are actually guiding them, treating them. Like for example, if I'm being a faculty, if there are 10 students in the class, and if I'm assisting them in their research work or in their project, that is called wheel network.
Okay, sir. Thank you. Got it.
Pleasure.
Sir,
Yeah,
hello.
Mr. Anuj, please.
Sir, out of in formal communication this network, which network is the in very good way? My question is this.
Yes. Understood that is. See, Mr. Anuj, actually, there is no, we can say a thumb rule that which network would be most efficient. It depends on type of organization, type of operational activities which they perform, and the size of the firm as well. Also require a different level or type of formal communication which they have. If a particular,
But sir, anytime most of companies use some suitable network for the better communication. That means I think
maybe same network.
Star network is the good.
Yeah, star network is actually giving you a right, a particular freedom to speak, to come up front, to you could say put your words forward, and that will actually give you more confidence, more participative approach in the organization. Definitely. But
that's why I am asking, sir. That's why I am asking. As per my opinion and the industry life, star network is the best suitable network.
Yes, definitely, sir. Agreed with that.
Yes, sir. Yes.
But
Okay,
there are
thank you so much.
pros and cons we can also consider under star network, which may not suit to a particular industry where the hierarchy or the traditional firm or firm structure which they follow. Okay, it depends on the top management what sort of, you could say, rights and responsibility and openness they want to give to their employees.
Yes, sir.
And
Thank you so much, sir.
secondly, you told like depending upon the number of person in an organization. If I'm handling very small business of mine, which have few person only, so I think any above will be there, like superior, subordinate, or circuit network.
Yes,
Because only small people are there, so that is also there. I mean, it depends on number of person in the organization.
yes, definitely, yes, very true. So let's move to the last point that we have. That is about the informal communication, which I told you about the grapevine. Okay. Now the grapevine, maybe you could say from one person, okay, reaching the information with the help of two person in the same flow. Okay. Like one person is communicating or passing the information, because these information are informal communication. There is no references, first of all. There is no, we can say, a particular validation of the information. These all are the rumors actually. So this is the pattern of informal communication we're talking right now. This trench, it would be, it could be a gossip, it could be a probability, passing from this to this, but not passing to this, because that these two individual does not belong to the same department or organization. Then this is called cluster chaining system. This is basically the informal communication network called grapevine.
Informal communication means some rumors that goes in the organization, that only,
Yes.
that this is happening, this would be happening, but that doesn't happen.
Yes, definitely, yes.
Got it.
Clear, I think, everyone?
Yes, sir.
Perfect. So I'm just sharing one case study with you now that we need to discuss today. And tomorrow we'll start email writing, okay? The business email ideas or tips or how to write an email, okay? That will topic for tomorrow. And day after tomorrow, we have a class activity, I think, which I've already shared with you on Wednesday. Clear?
So will we also include pitch, the business idea pitch, like when you have a startup or when you have a presentation, something of those lines? That's also part of one of the communication where you present, you pitch your ideas and thoughts of a business standpoint.
Yes,
so will you also include this as a part of the curriculum?
No, see, actually, Diljit, frankly speaking, because I have a lot to teach, I'm telling from the very first day. But because of the contextual understanding, because of the heterogeneity we have in the classes, because few are the new students, those who have recently joined the MBA after their graduation, few are experienced holders, we have few are business partners as well. So the heterogeneity which I have to maintain as well in the classes, so that I can satisfy all my target customer.
Certainly. Just asking whether it is included.
Yeah, but personally speaking, if you need to have any constructive discussion with me, so definitely I'll just spare a few minute of time or hour of time, if possible for me. Definitely we can discuss.
Sure, sir. Thank you. Thanks.
Okay, anytime. So let me share the one case study now, which we need to discuss and we need to complete. Just give me 2 minutes. I'm sharing on your WhatsApp. Yes, same, I think, file I'm sharing with you. The case study is given on the last. That is communication breakdown at City Hospital. Okay. I'm really sorry. Yes, friends. So giving you, I think, 10 minutes of time. 7:05 sharp will start discussing on that. Okay. You might have received it now.
Yes, sir. We received.
Okay, perfect. So 7:05 sharp, we'll start discussing. I'm just taking a 5 minutes of break in between as well. Okay. So 7:05 sharp, we'll catch you now. It's done, I think. Anyone? Let me unmute everyone now. Yeah, please. Anyone who have done? It's a very, very simple case study.
I did not receive anything. What was it about?
I think you might not be on my WhatsApp broadcasting group. I think so.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. Just text me. Just text me from your number. I'll add you in that same group because daily basis we are sharing some class activity and some assignments or some class activity for Saturday as well. Day after tomorrow we have an activity, so that you need to prepare.
Okay, where do I get the number from?
Yeah. I'm just typing on my screen. Wait a minute. You can just note down please if you have the some.
Yeah.
We have. It's 99
99
260
260
290
290.
96.
I think I messaged you yesterday.
Yeah.
I saw your number in one of the recorded lectures for finance management.
Yeah. Same number. Yes.
Yeah. I messaged you yesterday. Maybe it's not yet seen that message.
Yes. I got your number. Yes. Yeah. 0270. I think.
Yeah.
Perfect. So I'm just adding your number now. Okay.
That Mr. Basu one is not to be done now, no?
Yeah. Just a minute, Shweta. We are starting that case now. Okay. Yeah. Please, Shweta. You can summarize the case first. I think what exactly the situation is in the case study.
That communication was to be done, no? Means formal and informal.
Yes.
This was on, yeah. So it was like when we speak, then we use more phrases and different exclamation mark or colloquials. And when we summarize the thing, we use very particular terms. Point to point, we write. So
Yes.
that was basically, and I think that is very important in marketing, or even like when we speak, we actually try to convince the second person that what I have find is okay. So to convince, we sometimes use expressions, or if you are talking face to face, then our facial expression and the terminology like she used that that is the good person, he's the one we need, and all those things. So that actually put more emphasis on our output, and people accept it.
Yes.
Like we observe in daily also, like we go to shop something, then the person he explained the thing so much. We can even read those things on the booklet, but we expect that person should explain, or that is actually how the things work.
Yes, definitely. Very true. Because whatever theoretical content we discuss, it is the case studies based on the formal informal communication only.
Yes.
So, Shweta, how the situation can be handled in such cases actually, because this is basically certain cases it is discussed regarding the Lily and the situation of, you could say, rumors. How the situation may be handled in this particular situation actually.
Rumors?
Yeah. How we can manage rumors in these circumstances?
Actually, I think rumors cannot be managed, they can be ignored. Because we cannot change people. Everyone has their own instinct. Some people are very much interested to listen to the rumors which are going on in the office, and they find it more interesting only. And coming to office means what is happening with this person, or what is happening in the company next. So I think we cannot stop rumors. Whatever we can do is we can ignore it and we can move ahead.
Definitely, yes, yes, very true.
Sir, in my point of view, rumors can be minimized by doing a formal communication with the employee through a senior management or the staff in charge. You can say that.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, this is the best way to handle the rumors.
Yes, yes, yes.
Or other thing is what I've
One
observed, like when workload is less, then rumors are more. When workload is too much, then people don't have time to go for rumors.
actually, when there is a load, then everyone say that we are safe if there is a workload. And when there is no workload, then people think that if there is no work, might be we are fired.
Yeah,
So the
exactly. I
rumor,
agree.
so the rumor emerged.
And rumors
One
also increases when, like, sometime in companies they do manpower reductions or some changes or management changes. Then this increases more.
yes, yes, definitely. One example I would like to quote here, which is a realistic one in an organization where I'm already worked earlier. I think I might be also told in class also. Management had decided to stop the bus service of few routes, and management wants to extend the route of other service. But while communicating to the people through the personnel manager, they announce in the warehouse that we are going to start the route of start the bus for that route. A particular route was specified, and due to this, there is around 70 number of employees, 70 or 100 might be number of employees go on strike for whole night. They don't enter in the premises for the reason only because the bus was stopped for their route. But later on, after the intervention of senior management and continuous discussion with them, and formal communication was given to them that we are not going to stop your bus service. We are just reduce the number of buses and extended the service of other route of other service. And like that we can manage the situation.
Yes, yes.
Yes, Shanmugam, it is true. It is going like that in the industry. But
Yeah, I also have one example, like in our industry also, uh, some of the products were like not in the, they were in the pipeline, but due to some reason they were to be removed. So management have to reduce the people from a particular department. But all over the factory, it was all the company, it was spread that manpower is reduction is going on, and it can be you or me or anyone. So there was like the whole situation becomes so bad for some days. But when things were clear and exactly what you said, the senior people of the organization, they came and they talked to the people 1:1 that whatever is going on, it's just a rumor. Ignore it. It is just a condition things. So this happens, and I think this happens more in big organizations.
Can I summarize? I think because usually what happened, like when we're discussing about the issues of rumors in the company, when there is no flexibility, I think we were discussing about the type of communication, that is whether it's star, whether it's chain or whatsoever. It is very important that the particular individual must always feel comfortable, participative, and there should be a particular, you could say, redressal mechanism, or you could say a particular system of open communication. Okay, because if the open communication would be there, everyone is free to raise their voice, everyone is free to raise their hand in the company, irrespective of any judgment, irrespective of any hierarchy or cadre you belongs to. Okay, but it's very, very important that how the, we could say, the pace, the culture you have set in your company, according to that the reflection would be there in the outcome or in the efficiency of any organization when it's come to constructive platform which we must need to set in the company. It totally depends on how or up to what extent you are restricting your employees when it comes to raising the voice.
yes, sir.
Yes. Clear, I hope so,
Yes,
students.
sir.
Yeah. Yes, Shweta. Anything else?
Yes, sir. No.
Thank you so much. So I think that is enough from my side today. And tomorrow I'll start email writing in business context. Along with that, I'll just share one class activity on email writing only. And we'll take one case study on email writing only. Okay, that is the schedule for tomorrow. And please be ready for Sunday activity, everyone. Okay, that I've already shared with you on Saturday. Sorry, not Sunday. Saturday activity. Okay. Fine, everyone?
Yes, sir.
Perfect. So thank you so much. Please take care. We'll see you tomorrow at 6 o'clock.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, bye-bye, students. Take care.